welcome in the third-ranked Hawaii Rainbow Warriors for a Friday night matchup, and it has been a competitive Big West Conference. Hawaii and Long Beach tied at the top of the conference, coming off a matchup last weekend where they went 1-1, and all of these teams are ranked inside the top 10 to go up against this on-fire Hawaii Rainbow Warrior team. And up first, we're going to have Tread Rosenthal, the sophomore setter out of Austin, Texas, who was the Big West Setter of the Week 5 times this season. And that's a big start for the Gauchos. One of the keys for the match is Josh Aruya. He needs to be fed the ball a lot tonight and get in a rhythm. He's a big attack when he's on for the Gauchos. Here's Cole Schobel, the lefty setter, transfer from Loyola Chicago. Wow, the cover play. And the rally continues. Here's Kainoa Wade. And kept up by Ethan Saint. But it's Kurt Nooster, the middle blocker out of Indianapolis, who had a career-high 10 kills in their last win against Long Beach. That was a career high on his senior night, 12 airless swings. Good pickup there. And Rosenthal with a bit of a miss set there. And the Gauchos, 3 blockers are up. Josh Aruya gets the majority of that one. And we're tied at 2 here. Another look. And back row attack from Finn Kearney is rejected. But it looks like that point going to the Rainbow Warriors on a net violation. So Finn Kearney will serve it up. He had a breakout performance versus Long Beach, and that's an ace. So a hot start for the Rainbow Warriors. Finn Kearney, so impressive. He had played at the outside hitter position for most of the season and replaced Christian Turtriski, who went out with an ankle injury. And there's Josh Aruya. So great pass by the Gauchos. Cole Schobel has all 3 options and feeds it to Aruya. Here's Ben Court. He's been a steady presence for the Gauchos this season. One of the veteran players returned into the floor. An overpass sent right back down from Ethan Saint, who hasn't had many starts this season, but played versus UCI and had 15 kills. And he provided a lot of spark to the floor for the Gauchos. And Rosenthal goes outside. That's a big kill for Adrian Rohr, the freshman out of Lyon, France. So you'll notice the Rainbow Warriors have a lot of international players, and a lot of that is due to assistant coach Milan Zarkovic, who has been with the Rainbow Warriors for 11 seasons. He's earned AVCA Assistant Coach of the Year 2 times. And a good pickup from Rosenthal. Rohr battling a 3-man block, and he goes high off hands. Another look here. Rohr, really smart decision here, sees a big block and goes crossbody high down the line. Big serve from Nooster, and there's Max Gordon. Ethan Saint with just 1 blocker up. So a great play there from Schobel, finding Saint, getting him the matchup he needs. Saint is undersized for an outside hitter. Here's Josh Aruya. He'll go with a jump float serve, and that one sails out of bounds. And here's Kainoa Wade, the freshman out of Kailua, Oahu. He is the son of head coach Charlie Wade. Perfect pass from Gordon, and it's Big Owenberg with the put down, his first kill of the night. I really like how the Gauchos are getting the ball to their middle blockers. That's going to be crucial for getting a one-on-one matchup for those pin hitters. Big serve from George Bruning, and that's going to be an ace. Perfect pass from Kearney there. And there's Justin Todd, the redshirt freshman out of Houston, Texas, but he transferred to Maunalua High School in his senior year. So he was on island and then went to play for the Rainbow Warriors. Great serve there from Adrian Rohr, and it's going to cause the overpass and put down for Kearney. And I like how Rohr made an aggressive toss on that serve. It led him way over the end line, and he had a lot of heat there. He's second on the team in kills, 3.04 kills per set. That one sails out of bounds. Here's Ethan Saint, had a great game versus UCI on Thursday. Hit 566. Good up from Ileo Choi. Oh, and the pinball digs. It's still alive. Max Gordon, what a dig. But Schobel with the put away. And Schobel is, I think, one of the most, has that lefty crank of an arm. He goes over on two as much as he can when he's in the front row. And so we're tied at 8. Ethan Saint and Ileo Choi with a perfect pass. And there's Finn Kearney. Here's Todd, a redshirt freshman. And Schobel is roof, so Kearney with a perfect read on that ball. I like how he was watching Schobel the whole time, knew he was front row. And that's a good scouting report. Schobel's going to want to go to that swing over the net on any tight pass. And a service ace for Justin Todd. Here's getting after it on the service line. Here's Bruning from the back row, and that's a perfect set. The connection between Schobel and Bruning has been getting better every match. And here's Owenberg out of Thousand Oaks. Rosenthal back to Wade, and it's a kill from the back row. So exchanging back row attacks there. And Kainoa Wade getting the start. Louis Sakanoko not in the building, it looks like, tonight. So he did not travel with the Rainbow Warriors. Out to Ben Court, and it's up off the block. Little confusion. Here's Kearney over. Schobel to Saint, and it's the pickup. And Wade sees a huge block from Josh Aruya. So right off the bat, Josh Aruya providing a lot of spark, a lot of defense for the Gauchos. Great serve from Schobel. Tight pass saved from Rosenthal. And kept alive from Max Gordon. And it looks like a net violation called, I believe, on Kurt Neuster. It looks like he hit the net on his way down to Neuster, and Neuster saying, I did not touch the net. The referee was saying he hit it on his way down. He was fully finished with the block, and he net when he turned. So let's take a closer look here. I don't see the net moving there. That's a very tough call. I don't see a net there. It'll be interesting to see what the slow replay builds up. As long as they're successful. So it's always a good decision to challenge if you hear from your players that they know they didn't touch the ball or they know they didn't net. Because if it's a successful challenge, it would be 13-10. And here's the rainbow. Charlie Wade could come away from this weekend as the most winningest coach in Hawaii Rainbow Warrior men's volleyball history. Play here. Another look here at what was called a net violation on middle blocker Kurt Neuster in 8 there. Set on his way down, he tapped the net, but I do not see any net contact. And it looks like they've come to a conclusion here on the call. And it remains as a net violation. I think the referee's signaling that it was the jersey that hit the net. So fine detail. It will be Cole Schobel to get the show back on. And that's an ace serve, so a good momentum shift for the Gauchos there. That's hard to do coming off of a break and getting an ace. Usually it ices that server a little bit. And off the net, Rosenthal back to Kearney off high hands. Here's Schobel. And the tip off hands. That's such a smart tip from George Bruning. It was a low set, and he's become so much more comfortable on the floor. He's really developed into a leader position, just pushing that tip off hands. And a good run from Schobel at the serve out of Phoenix, Arizona. He's played in 26 of the 27 matches this year, but only 3 starts. And Bruning goes high, overhands, doesn't find a touch there. Good serve from Kearney. And Ethan Saint from the back row. Choi pick up. And Max Gordon will set out a system tight to the net. Gordon with the pickup. And Neuster with the put down. So the Rainbow Warriors taking advantage of that chaotic play on the Gaucho side. And another look at that up from Gordon. That's going to push us into our first timeout. Looks like there may be a challenge here. I think we're on our first timeout though. Hard to hit the squad, and he's made a huge impact. And I think that's big for having that player-coach relationship. And we see the same thing on the Gaucho side in Jonas Safe and Blaine Nielsen and Randy DeWeiss. So all 3 assistant coaches. And here's Finn Kearney. An overpass here. Here's Wade, picked up from Gordon. The Gauchos with another chance here. Ben Court is blocked, and that time going out of bounds. So a good and Ben Court's so good at finding a way to score. It's not always a hard kill. Sometimes a soft touch off the block. And there's Kurt Neuster with the throwdown, and he showed a lot of fire tonight, trying to ramp up the Warrior of playing alongside. So volleyball running deep in his family. one into the net. And Max Gordon as the primary libero tonight. We've seen Joe Wallace and Max Gordon kind of splitting duties, but tonight he's taken the primary libero position. And there's Rohr with a big arm. So Adrian Rohr doing it all there, the pass and the swing. Kainoa Wade has played 24 matches with just 2 starts, but Owen Berg with the audible kill. And the Gauchos are looking really good tonight in the fact that they're passing to the net and they're able to get their middle blockers involved. Owen Berg elevating and putting it to the floor. And by George Bruning serving. And here's Rohr on the outside, and he does a silky tip off the block there. So a smart play from Rohr, who's hitting 4 for 4 right now, hitting 1,000. So he is their go-to guy on the floor. They're missing Louis Sakanoko. So Rohr carrying a lot of that veteran outside hitter position. And Bruning line there from the back row. And Bruning has been so effective from the back row, from the front row, had a career high 24 kills versus UCI on Thursday. Here's Kearney elevating and finding that whip of the arm. It's quicker than the block gets for him, so he is finding seams even when he has 2 or 3 blockers in front of him. And here's Kavai Hong. Was at Santa Clara playing club volleyball, transferred to the Rainbow Warrior squad. He's a graduate of Punahou. That serve finds the net. And he played at University of Hawaii, was part of 2 national championship teams, actually served the final play of the national championship, and he serves an ace versus his former Rainbow Warrior squad. And that's gonna force the Rainbow Warriors into their second timeout, and we're gonna talk about that serve. So hard to do coming from the bench. Jack Wyatt, he plays great defense in the back row for that rotation, and he had a great serve versus UCI on Thursday that I thought was game match point, resulted in somewhat of an overpass, but it didn't go the Gauchos' way. But and versus Long Beach, 10,300 fans both nights. Incredible ambiance in the Stan Sheriff, and they performed, beating Long Beach in that second match, 15-13 in the 5th. Doesn't get more exciting than that. And so the timeout serves its purpose, freezes Jack Walmer up a bit, and they earn the side out. And here's Tread Rosenthal, who has just continued to grow in that setter position. He has a season-high 54 assists. And an overpass there, kept up by Josh Aruya. There's Court off hands, kept alive, and it's Kearney on the left side, and he will earn the kill off. He also has a season-high 9 kills versus BYU. Good pass. Back to Bruning, and he is roof blocked. And it's an all-out effort from the blockers there. They were down on the floor after securing the block. And that's going to be a Gaucho timeout as they're down by 1. We'll be back first set. So now the Rainbow Warriors with the times this season. And there was some net violation going on. I think he really ramped up his serving this season. Perfect pass. It's Nurster with the kill. And he's a good guy to go to. Had 10 kills versus their win versus Long Beach. No errors. Hit .833, and he is on fire tonight. It's his last season playing with the Rainbow Warriors, and he's showing it. Good block there. Here's Gordon. He'll go back to Bruning. The pickup cover. And it's out to Roar with only 1 block up, and he pounds it to the floor. Another look at this big time swing. Roar, the freshman out of Lyon, France. And here's Finn Kearney with set point. Here's Bruning and Nurster, but the tip over from Gordon keeps it alive. Bencourt will send it out to George Bruning. He elevates, but the pickup from Kearney. And that is set. And there's Roar with the finishing kill, but what a rally. Both sides all out, and he goes left-handed tip through the block to finish off that first set. Amazing defense on both sides. The Rainbow Warriors take the first set 25-22. We'll be right back. And we are back in action here in the Thunderdome after the Rainbow Warriors stormed back and won that first set 25-22. It was a back and forth set in the final moments. The Gauchos up by a couple, and the Rainbow Warriors. So Schobel, the lefty setter, will start us off here in set 2. And the overpass here, Bencourt sets up Bruning. Wow, creative play from the Gauchos, and I think that's what Bencourt does best. He doesn't always get that showy kill, but he makes it work for his team. I like that teamwork from the Gauchos. Perfect pass from Roar outside to Kearney, and he goes wrist away offhand. So Kearney originally was playing for the Rainbow Warriors on that side of the court as an outside hitter, but versus Long Beach he started at the opposite position, and Christian Tatrisky, one of their all-time best players, was hurt with that ankle injury. He's still out, so Kearney filling in well for him. And big pickup from Eleo Choi on that side. And off the net here is Wade. Court out to Bruning. Good set out of system. Here's Bruning on the outside, and he hammers that into the sharp angle right in front of Choi. And it's hard to get a kill on Choi on the other side. The libero in his 6th year with the program. He's getting his master's in civil engineering, and he's really peaking this season. Was phenomenal against Long Beach. Lays it out for a perfect pass. What an up on the cover. And a big high swing. Here's Choi with the bump set. Kearney into the sharp angle. And Bruning with 3 up. Choi again with the layout dig. And they're going to call a double contact on that overplay from Roar. But wow, what a rally. Choi, unbelievable on his defense. He's covering probably 70% of that back row. And it looks like there will be a challenge from the ring if they can see any net contact with the Gaucho players here. Look at that dig from Choi. Unbelievable layout, covering the full short middle of the court. Another look here at that dig. Not sure where the net violation is coming in here. And that was the set where they called the double contact on the Rainbow Warriors. So Choi, just unbelievable this year. In his 6th season, he won Big West Defensive Player of the Week in February and March, and he's the only player to have started all 27. Who, a graduate of Farrington, but he also played goalkeeper in soccer in high school, and that I love because having to defend. And the play will stand with the Gauchos, so no net violation found in the replay. And it will stand at 3 serving 1 early in the second set. Here's Ben Court. Great pass from Choi. Back to Kearney, but he whips it too wide, too crossbody, and that's a break for the Gauchos. Kearney coming in with a lot of heat. The perfect pass from Choi. Back again to Kearney. Max Gordon sets George Bruning, and he goes high offhand. So Bruning really finding the high swing tonight, but it's the ball control from Max Gordon that is the huge win of this play. Putting your player up in even an out-of-system rally is really important and something Max Gordon does very well. Good pass from Kearney. And it will be Kainoa Wade with authority. I love that set from Tread Rosenthal there, really selling he was going middle, and then gets Wade with the one-on-one matchup. Here's Kearney. Big serve there. Schobel off the net. And Bruning somehow finds that high swing again. This time not off hands, but it soars perfectly to the sideline. And here's Josh Arroyo standing at 6'9". He was the 3rd best recruit in the country, and George Bruning was the 1st. So the Gauchos had a strong recruiting class 2 years ago, but a miscommunication there. That ball left for Josh Arroyo, who doesn't spend a ton of time on defense. So I'd say that Ethan Saint needs to step in and take that ball. And here's Nooster. Good pass from Court. The throwdown kept alive. And Wade goes high. George Bruning, the tallest player for the Gauchos, 6'10". Goes back to Wade, dug up by Gordon, but Ethan Saint unable to save that ball. And it will be Kainoa Wade to serve, the freshman out of Kailua, Oahu, 6'10". Son is head coach Charlie Wade. Here's Bruning from way off the net. What a set from Choi. But that time, a three-person block up for the Gauchos. Had a great match last Thursday versus UCI, one of his first starts of the season. Wow, and Owenberg puts it back down, back-to-back big-time blocks from Owenberg, and he is having a match. Here's Saint again. Off the net, going back to Rohr, and he misses just long, but he is sure that there was a touch on the block, so it looks like that touch to be reviewed. As it stands, the score 10-4. Another look here at Adrian Rohr. Hard to tell from that angle, but I like that crossbody swing from him. And they're gonna look back and see if they can tell if the ball was redirected somewhere in their offhands. And as it stands right now, Adrian Rohr tied with Finn Kearney for the Rainbow, 7 kills. The next highest on the team is Ethan Saint with 3. So Bruning carried the majority of the offensive loads early in this second set. So Ethan Saint providing a good steady serve pressure here, but this is the hard part, is after a big break, can you make your serve in aggressively? And he misses that one long. Here's Adrian Rohr, the freshman out of Lyon, France. He helped his U19 French team win an FIVB World Championship. It was France's first ever volleyball world title in any age group or gender. So Rohr, part of a historic team. Good serve from Berg. And Kearney goes down the line. That is a fantastic swing, and inside out, had to come into the court to take that swing and then rocks it back down the line. That is a big time swing from the freshman. Good pass from Saint. Here's Ben Court, and he goes sharp angle, wrist away, hit that very well. I thought he was going deep angle here, and he just sneaks it inside the block of Nurster. A whip of a serve from Schobel, handled by Rohr, and a big block kept alive. Here's Wade. He's going to send a free ball over. And back to Ethan Saint, hit really well by Schobel. Love how Schobel is mixing it up, and that's going to force the Rainbow Warriors into a timeout, down by 7. We'll be right back. In the Thunderdome, the Gauchos up by 7 here in this errors, so that's a very good ratio. Here's Schobel. Goes with the short serve off the shoulder of Aruya, and here's Court. Rosenthal back to Wade, and he finds that deep corner. I love that swing from Wade. He keeps it aggressive. He's hitting right now in the negatives, but that's a big time swing. He's got to find that momentum again. Rosenthal handled. Here's Aruya. Schobel back to Court. He's off the net, keeps it alive, and here's the attack on 2, but goes into. You're up by 7. Then Court with a lot of heat there. Back to Kearney. And a tough ball there. So Kearney coming off Big West Freshman of the Week after career high, led his team in kills versus Long Beach. Good communication from Max Gordon there.
Kearney goes off the defense and out. Point Gaucho.
And it will be Josh Aruya, who has been great tonight out of Mission Viejo. He's a sophomore. And straight down the line, that is such this jump float serve, and you'll see most players in men's volleyball go for the top spin, but the float, so hard to handle that time. Handled well from Choi. And that ball called out of bounds. It definitely looked like there could have been a touch on the ball, but Hawaii trying to decide whether to challenge that. And it looks like they're gonna let it go. So Josh Aruya finds himself on the end line for the third serve in a row. Big hammer, but picked up from Schobel. But that's stuffed right back from Nurster, so he's doing a great job at sealing the block. It looks like a net violation called on him, though, and that's going to be points for the Gauchos. So the Rainbow Warriors unhappy with a couple of the pass calls here.
Point Gaucho.
So the Gauchos now lead. Good serve from Aruya, handled by Choi. What a dig from Schobel, and Bruning on the right side. He misses just wide. Kai Taylor, the serving substitute. Cousin Nikki Taylor was a standout player for the Rainbow Wahine. Wow, that serve barely out of bounds. I do like that aggressive serve from Taylor. Here's Bruning, the redshirt freshman out of Newport Beach. Good serve there. Here's Rohr, and he goes long, but Bruning with a toss way over the end line, and he mishandles that ball. It sails long. And here's Kainoa Wade, the freshman out of Kailua, Oahu. And he's playing in the position of Louis Sakanoko, who is not in the gym. Big kill from George Bruning right down the line. And Bruning with his 9th kill of the night. Another look here at that long approach from the back row, hammering down the line. Here's Rosenthal, back to Wade. Bruning with the pickup, kept alive. And here's Tread. Wow, and the juke out from Tread Rosenthal really set up Justin Todd for the kill. Nice play there on the trick shot. So a lot of versatility out of both setters on the floor. They're able to be very offensive, and that way they draw the block in. They hold a block so that they open up the net for their hitters. Another missed serve for the Rainbow Warriors, so they're unable to find that rhythm. The Gauchos now up by 11. And here's Owenberg. He'll go with a jump float serve as well. Handled by Choi. And there's Justin Todd with the kill, so I like that decision. And here's Clay Weeder, the senior out of St. Louis, Missouri. And that serve goes into the net, so the Warriors really struggling from the service line. Another look here at that serve, just short, catching the top of the net. And Nurster down with authority, trying to muster up some energy on the Hawaii side, and he is having another great night, errorless, 5 kills on 7 swings. And here's Tread Rosenthal with a whip of a serve. Bencourt steps in to set it. Bruning off hands. Rosenthal to Nurster, and he finds the floor. Want to earn your momentum going into the next set. Good serve. Here's Schobel back to Court. And Court gets the tool, but it goes off of his body and out. So Nurster finding that block again. Another look here. The roof that's going wide, but it hits Bencourt on the way out. Rosenthal with a big serve and an ace, and they're storming back here. And it looks like the Gauchos may call a timeout, and they do. So Hawaii down by 11 at one point, and now within 7. And on the Gauchos, even though they still lead by 7. And the Gauchos, on the other hand, want to get a pass on the net so they can give their middles a shot. Both middle blockers having a really efficient night. Here's Rosenthal, the setter sophomore out of Austin, Texas. Brings more heat. And here's Bruning, high and out of bounds. That ball mishandled, hit more of his fingers instead of his palm. So it soars out of bounds. So Rosenthal on a big service run. He served 5 points in a row. And that ball out of bounds. And here's the steady Bencourt, redshirt junior out of Hermosa Beach. Choi with the handle. Nurster with the hammer. And we've seen a lot of... And here's Finn Kearney, the Big West freshman of the week. Great serve picked up from Gordon. Here's Saint, and he is roofed. And Nurster with the stare down. And that's what they call the Manoa Roofing Company. Up big here. That's the nickname that the Rainbow Warriors have for their blocking squad. Josh Aruya with the put down, and it is barely touched by Rosenthal. And we are back to action when the Gauchos kept Hawaii to a .062 hitting percentage in that second set. And on the other side, the Gauchos hit .240, so not high hitting at the end of that second set. And he's gonna start off the match. He's one of the best setters in the country. And here's Schobel wide to Bencourt. The throwdown from Nurster kept alive. And here's Kearney with a one-on-one, and he gets the kill. Looks like they're doing just that here in the third set. Wow, and a huge ace from Tread Rosenthal, and he was one of the main players speaking in the huddle in between games. He is a reigning ABCA All-American honorable mention, the Big West Freshman of the Year, and he has a lot of experience as the starting setter for the US U19 national team. And there's Nurster with another put down. That's his 8th. That he has had phenomenal efficiency in their match versus Long Beach. He had a career high 10 kills, no errors. hit .833 on his senior night, and he puts it down with another block. And he talks to the crowd a little bit on his victory lap. That's going to force the Gauchos into a timeout as they trail by 4. We'll be right back with you. 22, the Gauchos had a large lead in the second set, ended up winning 25-19. Great serve, another ace for Rosenthal. And he has such a leading presence on this team. Was talking the most in the huddle after their second set loss, and really showing the team that they needed to wipe that one away, bring new energy this set, and he has taken that literally. And Bruning goes for the change-up soft shot to get a pass to the net. They want to look to Josh Aruya, who has been great tonight. He's hitting .600. There's a tight pass, Schobel on the net. Ben Court finds the tool somehow, such a magician. The transfer from Loyola Chicago, just a sophomore out of Costa Mesa. Choi with a perfect pass. Nurster with the swing off hands. Here's Saint from the back row with authority. Choi unable to handle. So Ethan Saint has been phenomenal from the back row especially. Schobel able to get him a one-on-one matchup. And Saint with such a whippy arm. Hawaii off the net here. Rosenthal back to Rohr. Out of system, Bruning takes a swing, covered. Gordon out to Court. And Rosenthal back to Rohr, picked up by Schobel. And a high set to Bruning, he uses. So an immediate trainer on the floor for the Rainbow Warriors. Taping up his thumb, it looks like. Schobel off the tape, and it's back to Rohr again, and that block soars just wide all the way past the end line. And Adrian Rohr just hitting above 0 right now. He has 6 kills. It seems like more than that. He's a heavy hitter. And another swing from Ethan Saint finds the floor. Fast arm energy for the Gauchos. And Court aggressive on that serve, misses. And here's Newster, the senior. He's actually a redshirt junior, so has 1 more year of eligibility, but is graduating this year. And there's the kill from Josh Aruya. So that's one of the keys for the Gauchos. If they can get the pass to the net, they want to find Josh Aruya. That's his 4th kill on just 6 attempts, no errors. From the back row, Rohr lights it up. You could hear that swing from all over Santa Barbara. With authority, he pounds that one to the floor. Here's Kearney. Schobel back to Bruning. He goes high off hands again and soar past the Hawaii defenders. And the service almost ace from Bruning, kept alive by Rosenthal. Bruning with another opportunity. And here's a tip, kept alive. Schobel with the swing. Rohr is there. Bruning again goes out of bounds over the block. All out effort from both sides. Great defense in the back row from Rohr. And here's Clay Weeder, who is checked in. The senior outside hitter from St. Louis Missouri. Good serve. Owen Berg elevates and tools offhands. This is going to be crucial for them to get their middle blockers attacking. Here's Kearney, and he has a little hang time. Phenomenal setter, but also has a season-high 9 kills versus BYU, so he's also an attacker. And this time, Cole Schobel with the attack. Tight set, Schobel with the block. And Cole Schobel doing what he does best, coming out of nowhere. He has such good timing on those joust balls or a block where he will time it so he's the last one to push it back onto the other side. Here's Kearney on the outside, picked up by Schobel, set by Court. And that block is a Manoa Roofing Company special, blocked all the way to the end line after a long rally. Another look here, Kearney and Neuster matching up to get that block to the floor. 43. Good serve. And here's Bruning on the outside, picked up by Rohr. Rosenthal finds, wow, what a sharp angle there from Clay Weeder. Unbelievable elevation, and it looks like Hawaii is kicked into a second gear with Weeder out on the floor. That ball basically falling at the 10-foot line.
Service out, point UCSB.
And the Gauchos get a little relief there on a rare miss serve from Rosenthal, or from Rohr. Great serve from Court, barely kept alive from the Warriors. Here's Court now out to Bruning, and Bruning with a huge swing. 14, but leading all players on the floor. And an aggressive serve goes wide there. So coming at the outside position, now coming in as more of a serving substitution, but what a great serve that is. Up somehow off of Schobel's shoulder. And the 3-person block is covered. Here's Kearney. Schobel again with the dig. Here's Ethan Saint. And against 3 blocks, Ethan Saint finds a way. What an incredible rally there on both sides. And that was a big momentum play for the Gauchos as they're trailing by 3. And Weeder is blocked, so a really disciplined block by Ethan Saint there, making sure Weeder had no line. Another look at that. Weeder tried to go crossbody line, but Ethan Saint really has a lethal jump float serve. And that time it soars long. So a good kills tonight. Big elevation, that ball soars long. So back-to-back service errors. And it will be George Bruning, the redshirt freshman out of Newport Beach, has struggled with a couple injuries last year and the beginning of this season. And a big swing there from Adrian Rohr from the back row. And here's Clay Weeder. He's a senior, transfer from Lindenwood, part of the Midwest Conference. And here's Saint on a low set, and he uses the speed of that set. Hitting 571, has just one error. And a tight set out of system, stuffed by Berg, kept up by Choi, and a miscommunication on who was going. And it's back to Kearney, and he misses, just tied at 17 here in this third set. Tied at 1-1 in the match. And it's go time right now. And this is where they are a younger team, not as much veteran experience on the floor. And they're learning how good they are, but also that they should be winning these tight matches. And they also have a very young squad, but they have been really good this year at finishing out tight sets. Tonight, 9 kills on 14 attempts. And the timeout was a fouls versus BYU. He's a member of the Israeli senior national team. And back to Bruning, off hands, and he finds the floor. So Bruning so effective on that swing off the top of hands. It's giving the Rainbow Warriors some time, but they're unable to get that ball. And it's going to be a serving substitution. Jack. And he was the primary setter for the Gauchos the past couple of seasons. But great up there, wow. The pass from Choi was out of this world. That was such a good serve, and it set up Roar for a one-on-one matchup there, and he finds that deep angle kill, a big point for the Rainbow Warriors. And here's Rosenthal, has been great from the service line, handled by Court, and Aruya is up big. And again, big props to the pass there. That was an incredible serve, perfect pass. Aruya up big. That's what the Gauchos want. And handled by Choi, back to Roar. And that's the right person to go to. A little bit of a miscommunication on the Gaucho side. But Roar has been clutch. He's now leading the team with 11 kills. Good pass from Saint, and it's back to Court. He goes high off hands. So the Warriors, Rainbow Warriors, are a little stumped at how this keeps happening. The kill that's just going off fingertips and making it impossible for their defensive line to have a chance. Court with the changeup, and it almost looked like that went over. Kills on 11 attempts, and to go with that 6 blocks. So leading the team in hitting efficiency and blocks. Perfect pass from Gordon. Back to Bruning, and he finds another tool. Make it 14 kills for George Bruning. Another look at this back set, and he has really come alive on the right side. And it's going to be another serving substitution. Ben Pearson in to serve for Josh Aruya. And Ben Pearson has been a phenomenal outside hitter or serving substitution for the Gauchos. He always goes for it aggressively. And a good aggressive serve there, causes a free ball. Back to Saint. It's a little higher than he was expecting. Back to Kearney, and he is roofed. Wow, so big play for the Gauchos, and it started from that tough serve from Pearson. Look at this block, though. Bruning doing such a nice job at pressing all the way over the net. And it will be Pearson again on the end line. Good serve. Wow, the attack from Hazan up big in the middle, and I love that pass set. Perfect. They had all three options there, but Hazan, who has not played many minutes this match, gets a clutch kill. Big serve off the net is Schobel. He goes to Saint, and there's the setup to Kearney. And it was a trick play on the Rainbow Warrior side. It looked like Rosenthal was going to attack that ball over on 2. So the jump set worked. He faked out the Gaucho block, but he whips it back to Kearney, who has an open net. And here's a tight set. Good up from Choi. Over from Rosenthal. So when you don't think he's going on 2, he goes. That's such a cerebral play from Rosenthal. He's on the ground, and he just tips it over with his left hand. Have set point. And I love the grit of this Rainbow Warrior. And it's definitely tough when you're traveling all the way from Hawaii. It's not an easy travel day, a lot of time on the plane, and they're used to playing in front of 10,000 fans in the Stan Sheriff. So you're going in the start, and they're rolling with it here in the third set. And here's Finn Kearney to serve up set point. The Big West freshman of the week. Good serve handled by Court. Out to Saint. And Rosenthal gets the stuff. So a good showing from the Gauchos, but they lose that one 22-25. Down 2-1 in the match now. And we will take a quick break before returning back to more action here in the Thunderdome. And we are back in the Thunderdome for the start of the fourth set after an exciting back and forth. And they are looking to secure a share of the Big West Championship title. The Gauchos looking to improve their 2-6 record. And George Bruning leading all row. So liberos play full-time in the back row. Cole Schobel with 14 digs on the night. Not only a phenomenal setter, but can also keep the ball alive in the back row. Good cover play there. And a throwdown battle. Here's Ben Court with the high deep line tip. Kept alive. Here's Saint from the back row, and he misses just wide. Schobel to Court, blocked. Gordon's to Aruya, and Aruya elevates. Great connection there between Schobel and Aruya. That's his 6th kill now. Look at this elevation from Aruya. Anytime the Gauchos can get him the ball, they are going to look to it. Here's Rosenthal on the net. Back to Rohr, and Rohr goes sharp angle with authority. And when he finds his contact, you can hear it. It is the sound of a ball that is going to go straight down to the ground. And a high toss from Rohr. Schobel on the net to Saint, and Saint finds the tool. So again, that fast sent to Saint, and his whip of an arm is really good at catching the Rainbow Warriors out of place on their block, and that's going to lead to more tools. And the high, deep serve from Aruya Sister out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Had a career high 10 kills versus Long Beach last Saturday on his senior night. And the big connection from Owen Berg. The Gauchos middle blockers are really bringing the fire this set. Owen Berg up big, the perfect set from Schobel. Good pickup from Choi. And there's the tip from Weider, picked up by Bruning. And it's Ben Court from the back row. But a great team effort there from the Gauchos. Another look at that layout from Bruning. And then Court off hands. Big serve from Bruning. Back to Kearney, who has quieted down, and it looks like Owen Berg may have gone down on an ankle here. And they're led by George Bruning, 14 kills on 39 attempts. He has double the amount of attempts as any player for the Gauchos tonight. Back to Kearney, and he is blocked but covered by Choi. And another block, Ethan Saint getting all the way to the right side to complete that three-person block, and his hard work paid off. Look at his left hand really sealing that block into the court. And Bruning into the net, but a great service run to get the Gauchos in the lead here in the fourth set. Here's Finn Kearney, the Big West freshman of the week. Good serve, Schobel out into the rafters, and it's Berg with the put down, kept alive here, off the net, free ball. Tight to the net, and it's Gordon who's gonna set up Saint. Good cover by Berg. Here's Bruning from the back row, kept alive, and the attack from Rohr. And now the attack from Rosenthal, but he comes up with a net violation on the way to that kill. So the Gauchos able to hang in there during that rally. A couple of big time swings. Another look at this. Rosenthal finding that opportunity, but finding a little net in there too. Checked in during the second set. The outside hitter, senior out of St. Louis, Missouri. And he misses just wide. So back to attempts, hitting 7-14. And the high float serve soars out of bounds. And that's the Gauchos' 15th service error. Hawaii with 19. And here's Ofek Pazan, the freshman from Israel. Good serve. Back to Bruning. What a pickup. Wow, pinball defense on the Warrior side. But it's the trick jump set to Bruning that seals the deal. Another look at that fake on the on-two. Back to Bruning, and he finds the floor. And both of these setters. And here's Schobel, has a season-high 53 assists. His season-high previous to tonight was 12 digs. He has 14. What an up from Max Gordon. And another up, but it's the block on the Gaucho side, and they're telling their coaches that they did not block, but it looks like no challenge will be played here. And Rick turned to the coaching staff and said, I did not touch the net. So it will be a challenge. And another look there. Again, I don't see a net violation here. That was a great swing from Rosenthal. What an up here from Max Gordon, too. Another look to see if Aruya, the middle blocker, number 16, caught the net at all.
Final game of the series happens tomorrow afternoon at 5 p.m. at Caesar Wasaka Stadium. And softball is back at Campus Diamond on April 26th when they host the UCSB.
Both of these teams finishing up regular conference play this weekend. So the final two Big West matches, which will be at the Stan Sheriff in Hawaii. The second year in a row that the Rainbow Warriors will host the Big West Championship Tournament. Talking to assistant coach Kuponofe earlier before the game, and he said Choi is just really peaking this season, and he's doing it all. He's getting his master's in civil engineering. He's phenomenally bright, was the valedictorian at his high school. Violation, and it was on Ben Court. So here's Rosenthal, was a 2024 AVCA All-American honorable mention. He's been great, even though they did not get a successful challenge call. And a good pass there. And it's Kearney kept alive, but then blocked right back. It looks like there was a net violation called. And there is an uproar from Rick McLaughlin. There will be a challenge on that play. Again, challenging that there was no net violation. Another look here. And it does look like there was a net contact somewhere. Yeah, I think Bruning hitting the net on that play. He was pressing over the net so well, but I think his elbow caught it on the way down. And it looks like that call will stand. So a net violation called, and the point will stay with Hawaii as they trail by 2 in this fourth set. Good pass from Gordon, and it's Aruya up high. Stay in the air and find the kill. Good pass there, all the way out, and it's Weeder with the heat. And he has been phenomenal since entering the match. A big-time swing here. He finds the seam in the block and the side out for Hawaii. The outside hitter in place of Louis Sakanoko, who is not in the building. And a little mishap there, Owen Burke. Big serve from Wade. And off the net, Bruning goes deep middle. Kept alive there, cover by Wade. Back to Weeder, and he gets a one-on-one matchup that time and finds the floor. So the Rainbow Warriors storming back. Another look, I like the lower set there on the second set to Weeder. He's gonna find easier seams. And way off the net is Max Gordon. Here's Ethan sent into the net there. So a tough play. Started with the pass off the net, and the Gauchos will take a time 3-0 scoring run. They have done a good job at getting momentum. Whenever they are down, they get on the service line and they attack. And it's mostly been by Tread, and the most efficient server on the floor. Tread Rosenthal with, and back on the floor is Kainoa Wade. His dad is head coach Charlie Wade. big momentum play there for the Rainbow Warriors. Another tough serve handled by Gordon. Back to Bruning. And here's Kearney. Big pickup from Schobel. And a high set to Bruning, but he finds the Manoa Roofing Company. A three-person block up at the net. And Bruning tries to go high, but he finds hands. A great press on the Rainbow Warrior block there. Good pickup from court. Here's Saint. And he mishandles that ball. So now a 6-0 scoring run. And that's going to be another timeout for the Gauchos as they now trail by 4. They're having trouble finding an answer for the tough serve from Kainoa Wade, serving tough. And the Gauchos really struggle when they're not able to get that pass to the net. They need to have their middle blocker as an option to keep. And the Gauchos in a must-win position here to extend this match. The Rainbow Warriors lead 2-1. It's been a battle all 3 sets thus far. Scoring run from the service line. And Ben Court from the back row. So a good solution for the Gauchos to get out of that rotation. Go to the back row. Both Ben Court, Ethan Saint have been great from the back row, and it gets them more of a one-on-one matchup as far as the block. And here's Bruning, picked up by Choi. Now the back row attack response from progressed. Here's Finn Kearney, Big West Freshman of the Week. And Schobel off the net is going to go to Bruning, and he somehow finds a way to tool. Was facing 3 blockers on that one as well, but goes wrist away off hands. Here's Ethan Saint, has 10 kills tonight. Tight pass, handled and tooled later on in the match. He's the senior outside hitter. He's played in 14 matches with 10 starts this year. And a good swing from George Bruning. And that was a needed side out for the Gauchos as they trail by 3. George Bruning, great from the right side this year. Championship point for the Rainbow Warriors when he was on that squad. And a big pickup from Ethan Saint, but a miscue on the second ball. I love that layout from Saint. Roll. His cousin is former Rainbow Wahine Nikki Taylor, was a big player on the indoor and beach teams. And the set out, and Rohr is somehow able to tool that ball out of bounds with his left hand. Another look here, the set goes a little bit wider than he's used to. Such a smart play from just the freshman. Adrien Rohr out of Lyon, France, has a lot of international experience, has led the France team to a FIVB World Championship. Here's Kai Taylor. Great serve from Taylor. And Pearson coming in to hopefully steady up that serve receive. The redshirt sophomore out of Santa Cruz. And here's Bruning from the back row, and he finds hands. So a break for the Gauchos. Facing a tough server. Kai Taylor did a great job coming in for the Warriors. And it'll be Schobel, one of the best servers for the Gauchos. Roar takes his time on that attack. Such a good swing down the line and draws a net violation on the Gauchos championship title. And that's a relief for the Gauchos. Kills tonight on 19 attempts. And a big serve, but that soars just long. And then will be Adrian Rohr, who has been phenomenal tonight. Leads the team in kills, and that ball, an ace. So Adrian Rohr with 16 kills tonight, leading the Rainbow Warriors. That's his first service ace, but he has been serving tough all night. Good up by Gordon. Here's Aruya, and that block barely wide. So on here, he's been great from the service line, has a jump float serve. Handled by the Warriors. And Clay Weeder pounds that ball down the line. And they're gonna talk about it. It was hard to tell if that ball went down to the floor first or hit Cole Schobel's shoe. And it looks like that was a touch off Schobel's shoe. If it had hit the floor first, it would have been out of bounds because Cole Schobel's shoe was out of bounds. So the Gauchos are going to challenge that, and I think it's a very smart challenge. We're late in this match, and it's worth a try. It does look like it hit his shoe, but it could have hit the floor first and then ricocheted off. And this is going to be a tough one to determine. Looks like it made contact right about the same time it hit the floor. And if the challenge is successful, Gauchos will, and it's helped his team out a lot when they're down to come back, to build that momentum back. And there's the libero Choi, who has been phenomenal in his 6th year in the program. And it looks like there was a decision made. And no touch called, so that ball ruled out of bounds. That's a huge break for the Gauchos. Late in this 4th set, this is a must-win set for the Gauchos. And it will be Josh Aruya. And a big kill from Nooster, who continues to bring the fire. And that's his 9th kill. And the Hawaii fans are on their feet. Back to Bruning, and Bruning with the, and he's hoping for some tough serves right about now to keep the Gauchos alive. Good serve, Rosenthal off the net to Kearney, handled by Schobel. Picked up by Choi. And there was definitely a net violation, that time called on the Rainbow Warriors. Another look here. Hazan finds the net on that tight set. And it will be George Bruning again. Nice serve off the net, scramble play sent over from the back row. Bencourt misses wide, and that is match play. The Rainbow Warriors and say that there was a touch. And I like the attempt. Why not? From my view, I thought I saw that ball trickle the net, but could have been a touch on that ball. Here's Ben Court. The challenge is to see if it hit hands on its way out. It looks like it nicked the net, and that's where the redirection of the ball happened. And a historic match to watch as head coach Charlie Wade looks for his 316th win to tie the program record Mike Wilton, former coach, held. And it looks like there has been a decision on the floor. So we will hear the fate of the match here, and it's going to stay with the Rainbow Warriors. So they take the match in 4 sets. The final set 25-20. Or the freshman out of Lyon, France for the Rainbow Warriors with 16 kills. He didn't look back. Had somewhat of a slow start, but geared it up. And it was Kurt Neuster, the senior, with 9 kills. He had a career-high 10 kills last match and was just